It's another special edition of PFTPM because there has been another vacancy filled in the National Football League. And it was just last Wednesday that Bills owner Terry Pegula explained the decision to fire Sean McDermott by saying that the Bills haven't been able to get through the proverbial playoff wall. So they have decided to promote a coach who's been part of the staff that has failed to get through the proverbial playoff wall. Joe Brady, the new head coach, 36 years old, arrived in 2022 as the quarterback's coach, promoted to offensive coordinator on an interim basis during the 2023 season after the firing of Ken Dorsey, who had replaced Brian Daboll, who became coach of the Giants. Brady continued to be the coordinator through the 2025 season, through the disappointing season-ending loss in Denver in the divisional round. And now, at a time when the favorites were Brady, Brian Daboll, and maybe Davis Webb, Brady gets the job and the 5-year contract that goes along with it. Hey, it's the Bills' prerogative on who they're going to hire. We understand, and Brady surely knows, there's going to be a lot of pressure to do at least as well as his boss, up until last Monday, had done in his 9 years with the team, with 7 straight playoff appearances. They're not going to accept a step back. They believe that from within the coaching staff, they have an answer as to how to get better. So think about the end result here. The Bills lose a game in part because of a controversial call that the Bills organization top to bottom seemed to believe was a bad call, and that Brandon Cooks should have been credited with a catch, and that the Bills should have been in position for a game-winning field goal in overtime of the divisional round loss to the Broncos. Hell, the Bills could be getting ready for the Super Bowl right now for all we know. So the end result was head coach is out, offensive coordinator promoted, general manager promoted. And that's fine. Hey, only one person's vote counts. And maybe Joe Brady is going to be the Super Bowl winner that the Bills have been longing for decades. We'll see. There's continuity. And that's always one of the key things when it comes to making that coaching change. It's one of the reasons why Brian Schottenheimer became the new coach of the Cowboys after Mike McCarthy was fired. Schottenheimer brought continuity for quarterback Dak Prescott. So we know that they're not going to change the offense. Now, maybe they'll feel compelled to go out and get better receivers to address some of the talent issues that they believe aren't there, but they may think should be addressed. And it's going to create an interesting dynamic during the offseason. Are they going to double down that the guys they have are good enough? Because if they go out and take a big swing, try to trade for or sign or draft a big-name receiver to come in, will that be viewed as a concession that Sean McDermott may have been right? Regardless, we now know where the Bills stand, and we know where they hope to go moving forward. They want to, as they enter a brand new stadium, they want to get through the proverbial playoff wall. The first job for Joe Brady is going to be to get to the playoffs. That's not easy, especially with the Patriots back where they are. And we know the Chiefs will be back next year. And look, there are going to be a lot of great teams in the AFC. It is not going to be easy to just get back to where they already were. And the fans are going to be antsy. The sense of urgency has increased. And the Bills, through a process that lasted 9 days, 8 days total, they've decided that Joe Brady is their guy. And again, that's their prerogative. But now the mandate for Brady and the organization is clear. There's an expectation that Brady will do just enough things differently from how McDermott did them in order to get over the hump. And maybe the front office will feel compelled to help Brady out by getting him some better players, if they're willing to concede that at the end of the day, maybe the talent isn't where it needs to be. It's also possible the Bills moved as quickly as they did because Brady had been interviewed twice by the Raiders. And we got to make a choice here because Brady may be gone. You know, do we promote Brady? Do we bring back Brian Daboll? Do we wait for Clint Kubiak because they didn't interview him because the job wasn't open in the initial window for talking to coaches on teams who are still playing? They would have had to wait until after the Super Bowl to even talk to him a first time. There may have been a little impetus, a little urgency, a little desire. Maybe they were concerned the Raiders were going to hire Joe Brady. Tom Brady hires Joe Brady. That would have made a big mess in Las Vegas. But maybe the Bills thought that's where Joe Brady was going to go. So it forces a decision. And the decision, obviously, Joe Brady. Now what happens with Brian Daboll? He's having a second interview with the Raiders. I won't be surprised if he ends up there. And I also wouldn't be surprised if Davis Webb, who was one of the other names that was in that mix, connection to the team, backup for multiple years, close friends with Josh Allen, maybe Davis Webb ends up the offensive coordinator because he's not the offensive coordinator of the Broncos. It would be a promotion for him to become the offensive coordinator in Buffalo. That could be the next step for his career, and that could be one of the first moves that Joe Brady makes as he puts together his first staff in his effort in his first year to try to get to the Bills to a place they haven't been since 1993, and then to a place they've never been, not just getting to the Super Bowl, but winning it and getting their hands on the Lombardi Trophy next February. We'll continue to monitor the developments in Buffalo and the remaining vacancies at ProFootballTalk.com, PFT Live, and right here, as needed, on PFT PM. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.